Welcome to Elon Beyond the Bricks, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of Elon University to explore the stories, ideas, and innovations shaping our community. Each episode will talk to individuals who are making a difference in the world and explore the values and experiences that make Elon so special. We hope you'll find stories that inspire and challenge you, and perhaps even spark new ideas of your own. Join us as we dive into conversations that go beyond the classroom and into the lives of our remarkable students, alumni, parents, faculty, and staff. Thanks for joining.
Today, I'm excited to welcome John Seaton to the podcast. John is currently pursuing his MBA at Elon after earning his undergraduate degree in strategic communications in May of 2023. I think I remember handing his diploma to him back in May. He's a native of New Jersey and a student athlete on Elon's football team. John has established himself as a rising star in the world of digital content creation. He has amassed 1.8 million followers on TikTok, where he shares unique football-related content. His engaging posts, which have brought a lot of personal laughs, have earned him recognition as a brand ambassador for several companies, bridging the worlds of athletics and marketing. And John's entrepreneurial spirit is also evident in his role as CEO of Big Boy Council. In 2023, John was honored as the NIL Summit Male Athlete of the Year, a testament to his impact on the growing landscape of name, image, and likeness opportunities for student athletes. Through his work both online and offline, John is making waves as a content creator, influencer, and business leader, all while continuing his studies here at Elon University. Thank you for joining us, John.
President Buck, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
I know I've been tracking your success, John, and I know you and I have had an opportunity over the years to talk about it. I wanted to share with you that when I am out on the road talking as a college president, I get often asked about name, image, and likeness, and I always share your story. So I'm excited to have this opportunity to visit with you and give you a chance to share your experience with the broader Elon University community. To kick us off, I'm going to start with an Elon-centered question. So tell me, why you chose Elon, and then maybe a little bit about how the experience as a student athlete with the team and with your academics have shaped you over the years.
Absolutely. So just to start off, thinking back, was it 5 years ago now, of why I chose Elon, I would definitely have to say that there was a tangible and an intangible nature about this place that really kind of led into my decision. As a high school recruit, I was very, let's say, under-recruited as a high school football player, and I didn't necessarily have many opportunities numerically. But boy, am I happy I had Elon as an opportunity to come to and grow with and study. It's been a fantastic experience so far, and I'd really say the driving force of why I came here was just the overall community feel that this place provided. I took a lot of official visits to other places, and a lot of them I got kind of the sense that they operated more as kind of a business operation, and here it was almost a difference in the air is what I would like to say. Everybody here seems like such a close-knit community, and there's a huge family feel to this place, which is what really made it special to me.
That's nice. It is a very human centered, right? Being invested in the people, sure. That feeling. I know you've majored in strategic communications. Yes, Tell me about you've been here as a student in what I would describe as the most transformative time in college athletics in the 100 years of Elon's since the 1923 fire here. It really, the last few years, and you've been in the middle of it all. So tell me about what inspired you to create your persona on TikTok.
Absolutely. So A lot of it was, I'll even back this story up to before like my even early high school, middle school days. Way back in, I'd say 2014, 2015, I had just started posting funny different lists on my Snapchat stories. This is, again, I'm 13, 14 years old, just trying to make my friends laugh. And I found out pretty quickly that I kind of had a natural knack for doing this. Now, that had grown, the love for media and content creation was really seated there, but it had kind of grown throughout my time in high school through different ventures where I tried to make a documentary of my senior football season. I've tried numerous YouTube videos before kind of finding my footing. And what I found out was I was much more, I guess, naturally inclined, and I wanted to learn so much more about this world of short form content that was developing before our eyes. At this point, when I first got to Elon, we were all just finding out what a For You page was, what an algorithm was. These were all super new, hot kind of buzzwords that people were throwing around, not really knowing what I guess they kind of meant. So being able to, be I don't even want to say pioneer, but a pioneer in this growing space has provided enough motivation in itself. And when coupled with the fact that I genuinely love what I get to do every day, and using this as a vessel to positively impact people is the most effective way that I've found myself being able to do it. It really ended up kind of being a perfect storm that I'm just blessed and lucky to be able to take advantage of.
Okay, for our audience, because they only can see your face right now,
For sure.
I want you to tell them your height and your weight and the theme of your TikTok.
Absolutely. So I am currently 6'1". I'm 6'2" on a good day. And I've been dropping down to 275. I was 305.
You're losing weight.
I know. But I'm around 275, 280 pounds. So I'm a very large individual. And there are a lot of experiences that us as large individuals have gone through. So my job and what I get to do every day is I get to wake up and kind of highlight these experiences for everyone else who is not a part of the Big Boy Council, the Big Boy community, if you will. So we're just here telling jokes and having a good time.
John is a big boy, right? And
Yes,
somebody first showed me one of your videos. This is even before name, image, and likeness was a thing, when you first arrived to Elon and said, look at this football player that's, tell him your position on the team, too.
I play defensive tackle.
Yeah. And he's good at it.
I appreciate it.
So, tell me what the demographic is of your 1.8 million followers on TikTok.
For sure. So I checked yesterday, and it's 94% male, which makes sense, just given the football content and the big guy struggles and things like that. And it's just a vast community of football players, bigger kids growing up, and really just big guys throughout. It's just a community of guys who like food. We like to eat. We like to have a good time, and we wear it on our sleeves. That's the best way I could describe it.
One of the funny things that I can still remember was you had a joke about, and okay, I'm just going to let the audience know. So these are funny videos about living life as a big guy.
Absolutely.
And one of the funny ones was you said that if you ask a girl on a date and she suggests going to the buffet, you marry that girl.
I'll tell you this much. My girlfriend right now, I asked her on a date, and she ain't suggest a buffet, but she suggested a Brazilian steakhouse. So I'm about this close. I'm about this close to dropping to one knee. I'll tell you.
I always thought that was funny. So, with your role, so what dramatically changed is suddenly, probably in your sophomore year, rising into your junior year, it became permissible for student athletes to earn name, image, and likeness money. So tell me your response to that and how that changed your life.
Absolutely. So as a walk-on student athlete, I'll tell you, my parents were ecstatic. But just
that you could earn income, that you could suddenly,
100%. All the vacation plans that they had got moved up a few years. I was like, dang. But I will say that from a more serious standpoint, it has taught me so much business wise, that the best way I can show that I can put this into practice is my transition from communication school in my undergrad to business school in my graduate studies now has been so seamless. I feel like I haven't missed, like, there are of course little small things where I'm like, okay, I have to catch up in a little bit, and well, you know, we can handle those as they come. But from an overarching perspective of being able to understand material, these real world experiences have provided me with so much value. I feel like I've gotten an education communications wise and business wise at the same time. So it was an absolutely fantastic opportunity to learn by doing. It's brought me into doors where, you know, it's brought me into rooms that I don't know if I could have walked into before this. And it has really led to a lot of opportunities just for myself, and now branching out for other people as we start to expand and employ.
So just for our audience to understand this, most of the time when you think about name, image, and likeness for student athletes, you think about the millions of dollars that some of the large football programs have quarterbacks and other positions that sponsors and collectives are paying for them to play. John's story is different in that you had a brand, the Big Boy brand, were out there, had amassed lots of followers, but you weren't able to economize that as a student athlete because of the restrictions the NCAA puts on student athletes. And again, John mentioned he's a walk-on football player, which means you didn't have a scholarship here at Elon, that you were not able to realize the benefit of that. So it really was a restrictive environment for you as a student athlete. So tell us what happened and your first venture into the name, image, and likeness space.
For sure. So I will say that my first kind of ventures into name, image, and likeness were very busy and very unorganized at the beginning. I will say that summer, I remember it was July 21st of, it was 2022?
Yes,
I think it was 2022.
That's right. Yeah.
I spent a week on the phone negotiating, and I was like, okay, I can't do this. Like we're in summer workouts, and I'm at bell to bell right now with 4 hours of obligations, like during the day. So from there, it kind of led into the fact that, like, you know, I had to grow up pretty quick. I had to learn how to make decisions. Were you
negotiating directly with the brands, or were you dealing with agents at that point?
So at first I was negotiating directly with brands, and that was a experience that I can call trial by fire. They are very experienced negotiators, and there are people who, you know, they went to school for this. They're ahead of the game on this subject in terms of my skill set. So that actually kind of led, those kind of early experiences led to me signing on with my agency currently, Current Media Company, Pat and Tim. Those are my guys, my colleagues. Like, those are the guys I will go to the ends of the earth for. And, you know, being able to be matched up with them from this, you know, these rules being, I guess, opened up and relaxed was absolutely massive in just the overall success of the operation, for sure.
And so tell me about a couple of examples of who you were able to represent since July of 2022.
For sure. So I think the most exciting ones that I've been able, or the most exciting campaigns I've been able to work on. We did a lot of stuff. We've worked with Dr. Pepper for the past 3 years, which has been really awesome. Every year since Name, Image, and Likeness has dropped, we've been able to work together on a campaign in some capacity. Now, this is for their tuition toss event that they do at all the conference championship games for Power 4, Power 5 schools. So it's really cool to kind of be able to be on that team and spreading that message. I've worked with Snickers in the past. I've worked with Atlantic Records, who, you know, produces a lot of the music that we all listen to today. There was a NBA Youngboy album. I know this is a crazy spot for an NBA Youngboy album mentioned, but it was called Sincerely Cantrell, and it dropped a couple years ago, but that was one of the first kind of major companies that I had the privilege to work with.
I remember somebody sending me a poster that featured you. I think it was Outback Steakhouse, if I'm correct. And it was an Elon walk-on football player, and the other 3 football players were all from Power 5 schools. And they were emailing me saying, how did this Elon football player end up on this poster? And I sent them a link to your TikTok brand. So then they understood it. And actually, John, that's something when people are asking me about how has name, image, and likeness impacted Elon, I always mention you as the scenario, the case study that people don't realize is happening on college campuses, that you've got student athletes really bright that have their own brands, their own businesses that are not directly related to their athletics, perhaps, but that are sidebars to it that, created a whole new opportunity. So tell me, how did you balance, because, you're like a business in itself. And so tell me about balancing playing, academic work, and running your business.
For sure. So in the beginning, I guess years of this process, it came with a lot of sacrifice of my work and being able to do this. Because the schoolwork's got to get done. You got to go to practice. Like sometimes there's no room to make a video in the day. But what I figured out is, as a student athlete, we're faced with periods that are very, very busy and very, very, your entire day is planned out. And then we also have, there's portions of the calendar, especially the summer months, maybe our winter term, where there's a little bit more free time to kind of plug and play different activities in. So it's really just it's an extension of time management in a way, but it also comes into play with a lot more pre-planning. I'll say my month of July is my busiest month as a football player. It has been, at least, because I've been pre-filming for August, September, November, trying to create 3 months of content in a month. And if I had to do it again, and if I was, if I had that 6th year, I probably would start pre-planning content in May, just to really kind of make sure that, it's that the amount of work is more spread out, because the amount of work is the same. It's really just, when can you get it done, and under how many different time constraints are you operating? So just trying to mitigate time constraints is really the biggest portion of it.
Yeah. So a lot of people are questioning name, image, and likeness and the disruption that it's caused for college athletics and the repositioning of college athletics. So can you speak to your thoughts on it, and generally what you think about NIL?
Absolutely. So my viewpoint on NIL is that, it's I can't put any negative sort of connotations around it, because at the end of the day, we're all part of a free market. You know what I mean? So in my opinion, I feel like if a school decides that a starting quarterback in the SEC is worth X amount of dollars, who are we as fans, as those who watch the sport, to say that that's not the case, one, and two, if the amount of dollars they're making is stacked up to the amount that they're bringing into the school through potential advertising deals, or through, really, if you go out and play well, your school logo is going to be on every major media news outlet. If you go win a national championship, your logo is in front of the country. And there are a lot of corporations that pay a lot of money for that. So why would that equation be any different for an athlete? And also, I'll say that college athletics is a very finite period of time. Despite what some of these eligibility requirements will have you believing, college athletics is a very finite period of time. So again, this just goes back to the same thought process. Who are we to say that, you can't take full advantage of your moment in the limelight? And it may be the only one that you get. So personally, I'm all for it. I'm all for seeing, everybody being able to go and earn a living off of the hours that they put in. But I will also say that with the sheer amount of money that is coming into some of these people's, just lives overall, I think that there needs to be more of an emphasis on financial literacy and financial well-being overall. And I think if we're going to put $1 million in somebody's pocket, the obligation of the school and for the people who are giving that $1 million to somebody is to at least give a small instruction manual on how to best utilize it and make it last.
I think LeBron James famously called Warren Buffett, right, and said, because here he is, a teenager signing a huge contract, and for guidance on realizing I'm in a vulnerable position, I need the knowledge. Can you talk about how I've been impressed with your commitment to academics, and can you say a little bit about that? And I'm curious about something you've learned at Elon during your time here that shaped your business practice.
For sure. So in regards to the commitment to academics, my mom, she immigrated from Jamaica to Florida when she was, I want to say 14, I could be wrong. And my dad, he grew up in Brooklyn, New York in the 60s and 70s. And he had actually used education as his way out of his situation. He went to, I forget what it was called, something Brooklyn Tech, but it's now part of kind of like the NYU school system. And then he ended up going for his master's. He became an electrical engineer from Columbia. So education has been a huge part of my upbringing. And, my dad has always told me, he's like, hey, son, if football doesn't work out, if anything that you're doing doesn't work out, nobody can take this degree away from you. Nobody can take these lessons that you've learned away from you. I don't care who it is. Like, no one's going to be able to reach into your head and make you forget these things. With Starlink, no, I'm kidding.
Just don't know.
No, yeah. But I will say that, he has instilled the value of education into me from a very young age. And that's just been something that's kind of stuck at the forefront for me.
Yeah. I do think that's a really powerful lesson. I call it the everyday miracle that we can learn something new and change our lives. So your dad's a great testament to that. And so are you, John. What's your comment about the money coming into athletics, college athletics? Really, we're feeling it on campus, meaning more employers are looking for sport savvy graduates, that they, with the gambling industry, with name, image, and likeness, money that used to not be there is suddenly there, and you need a workforce around it. So it's actually on the education side also impacting where our graduates are headed to work. Tell me a little bit about the team, your teammates and how they've responded to your name, image, and likeness success.
Absolutely. So aside from all the jokes that are like, oh my gosh,
big boy jokes,
yeah, or just when I walk into practice, they're like, oh my gosh, is that John? Like, hey man. But no, they've been absolutely fantastic. Throughout my entire career, I've had nothing but support from my teammates. Whenever it feels like, my content team has done something that's led to a major win or a major step forward, it seems that there's 110 people behind me who are like cheering me on, supporting me, giving me anything that I need. And recently, this is actually really cool. This is a story that, if nothing else comes from this podcast, this is the most rewarding part of everything for me. So this support, and eventually, like, it led to conversations about, hey, like, man, do you want to create content? Like, you can do this. You know what I'm saying? And there's a bunch of different avenues you can take. You don't just have to make short form videos. Now I see teammates creating content. A couple of our DBs made a TikTok the other day that's doing pretty well. My guy Dylan Tucker, he plays corner here. He's live streaming on Twitch, playing video games, just hanging out with people. Like, he's doing really well, and he's got an opportunity now outside of college to be like, hey, if I want to go try this full time, I at least have a foundation to go do this. Another one of my best friends, Spencer Cola, he is right now he's my creative director, which is, as a lot of us know, he wears many hats. You know what I'm saying? He is really...
He's helping you be funnier.
Oh my gosh, 100%. Absolutely. Just having the second kind of viewpoint in the studio with me every day. And it has been such a help to elevating the level of my content. And now the fact that like, we're really signed on to this, and in a couple months when he's graduated, and when I'm graduated from the graduate program, from the MBA, like, we're gonna go give this a real chance. We're really gonna go and like try to make.
Tell us a little more about that.
For sure.
What's next?
Absolutely. So in terms of what's next, I'm looking at another avenue to kind of add on top of the short form content that I'm doing, because I just want to kind of diversify the portfolio, and God forbid if anything happens to a platform, I need to be on multiple platforms, so it doesn't topple the whole thing.
Yeah, if the government stops TikTok, I mean, you're probably doing a lot of risk planning. Yeah, for sure.
So different avenues such as stand-up comedy, podcasting, which is pretty fun. It's pretty cool that we're on one now, and also consulting for individuals and businesses from a social media perspective, being able to offer those, lessons that have been learned through really a 1,500 to 2,000 video case study that I've basically been doing for the past couple of years. So there are a couple different avenues I want to take it. The consulting kind of way looks really, really interesting, solely because of the amount of connections that you can make, the community you can build, and for the just variety that it can provide every day in what you're creating. So those are kind of off the top. Just what
I love your example of like being in the weight room and just having conversations with people about ways that they can extend their own brands and economize that. I mean, there's a lot of mentoring happening, peer mentoring on the team, right? Then maybe there's a business inside of that. I could see people get really distracted with the quarterback that has the $10 million contract. But I know what you said is true, that the walk-on football player who could make $25,000, that's a game changer for that player's life. So I want to ask you, this is kind of like the taxi cab question, but it's we're thinking of ways to keep this podcast entertaining. So if you could have dinner with any athlete out there, past or present, who would it be and why?
With any athlete, past or present. Oh my goodness, you're putting me on the spot. I'm not gonna lie, I've had dinner with a couple of cool athletes before. So I had dinner with Dwight Howard once. That was pretty cool too.
Well, that is neat.
But I'll say, past or present. If I could, I mean, there's the LeBrons, there's the Michael Jordans, but I'm trying to go for like an elite level pick. If I could have dinner, if any of you guys remember this name, it'll be crazy. If I could have dinner with Wes Welker, he was a wide receiver for the New England Patriots from when I was a kid, and I just remember he was so good, and I was his biggest fan growing up. Yeah, if I got dinner with Wes Welker, if everybody goes and Googles him, you'll find him and be like, oh, okay. That's probably one.
What did you like about him? Yeah, what was so...
Wes Welker's play style, just he was such a nose down kind of nose to the grindstone kind of player, and he actually had a really famous drop in the fourth quarter of a Super Bowl. So just kind of seeing how he would overcome something like that and turn it into an overall success story would be really interesting. But I also think Ray Lewis, because I mean, have you ever heard Ray Lewis speak? He'd get me. I'd run through the wall on the way out the restaurant. I wouldn't even take the door.
Well, thank you, John, for taking time out with us today. And it's inspiring to hear your story. And what I just want to mention how impressive it is to me that the kind of community member you are. I have watched you be just a great support to your classmates, to the staff in athletics, and have personally, anytime we needed something, you've been there and raised your hand. And I just love those values, and I can see them in your humor with the big boy. Lots of values at play. So congratulations on this great successful run, and we'll be rooting you on and the Big Boy Council on after you earn your MBA shortly and are taking this full time. Not that you're not already doing it full time.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It means a lot to even be the first guest on this podcast, because trust me, I know firsthand what goes into starting something like this, and to be the first person that you guys called, it genuinely means a ton. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you, John. Thanks for spending time. For our listeners, you need to check out John Seaton on TikTok. Just search by his name and you'll find him. It's going to be a lot of laughs for you. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the podcast. And let's close by saying, go Elon.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Elon Beyond the Bricks. Please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode, and leave a review to help others discover the conversations that matter. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.